Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has dismissed Russia's proposal for a 3-day ceasefire during Victory Day as theatrical, pushing for a 1-month truce instead. The UN General Secretary has condemned recent Israeli strikes in Syria, calling them a quote, violation of sovereignty. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has rejected Russia's 3-day ceasefire proposal, calling it quote, theatrical. Putin had proposed a ceasefire from the 7th to the 9th of May to coincide with Moscow's annual Victory Day parade, which foreign representatives have been invited to attend. Zelensky instead suggested a month-long truce, saying that reaching an agreement in just 3 days would be impossible. He also told reporters on Saturday that Ukraine cannot guarantee the safety of those attending the parade in Moscow. Separately, at least 47 people were wounded in Kharkiv after Russian airstrikes hit Ukraine late on Friday, according to local officials. This latest wave of attacks comes after the US and Ukraine signed a minerals agreement on Wednesday. Meanwhile, in Russia, a Ukrainian drone strike injured 5 people in the Black Sea port city of Novorossiysk, according to its mayor. Australia's centre-left Labour Party has secured a second term in office in a landslide election victory. The country's incumbent Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, is now set to be in office for his 3-year term. In his victory speech, he thanked voters for choosing, quote, optimism and determination.
Today, the Australian people have voted for Australian values. For fairness, aspiration and opportunity for all.
Leader of the opposition coalition and of the Conservative Liberal Party, Peter Dutton, who lost his own seat in Parliament in Saturday's election, has conceded defeat. Both parties acknowledged during the election campaign that the country faces a cost of living crisis, with energy policies and inflation being key issues.
On the streets of Berlin, Germans reacted to the news that the far-right Alternative for Germany was designated an extremist organisation. Authorities cited the party's xenophobic stances on ethnicity as the reason for the decision, saying the AfD discriminates against non-ethnic Germans.
Ich finde das, als wenn das so ein letztes Ding ist, was man weiß nicht mehr zu helfen, wie man mit der AfD umgehen muss. Und dann nimmt man eben dieses Verbot. Aber ich finde es nicht in Ordnung.
Und hätte schon längst passieren müssen. Ich verstehe nicht, warum dieses Gutachten, das war ja schon eigentlich vor der Bundestagswahl angekündigt, warum das nicht schon damals veröffentlicht worden ist. Weil ich glaube, das hätte vielleicht den einen oder anderen Wähler der AfD bewegen können, die Partei nicht zu wählen. Dann.
Jetzt, wo sie offiziell als gesichert rechtsextrem und als antidemokratisch gilt, könnte man natürlich schon über ein Verbot nachdenken. Ich sehe es aber nicht als Lösung für den Rechtsruck, den wir in Deutschland haben.
The AfD claimed the decision was politically motivated and reminded supporters the classification hasn't yet been legally finalised.
United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres on Friday condemned Israel's ongoing attacks on Syrian territory, calling them a violation of Syria's sovereignty. Speaking at a news conference, a spokesperson for Guterres said the UN chief was following the tensions in certain areas of the Syrian capital, Damascus, with concern.
He condemns all violence against civilians, including acts which could risk inflaming sectarian tensions. In this context, he also condemns Israel's violation of Syria's sovereignty, including the latest airstrikes near the presidential palace in Damascus. It is essential that these attacks stop and that Israel respects Syria's sovereignty, its unity, its territorial integrity, and its independence.
Israeli authorities say the strikes on Syria were a warning to the Damascus government not to harm the Druze minority following recent sectarian clashes with pro-government militia forces.